Welcome to Igniting the Spark. I'm your host, Stephanie James. Listener, I'm just sending so much love to you wherever you are. I know right now it's so important that we have that sense of connection. And when we drop into our hearts together, in this moment, we absolutely are connected, regardless of space or time. So just dropping in and taking a deep breath with you into our hearts and knowing we're connected there. Really excited to have you with me today. I am so thrilled to have Brian Benson with me on the show. Brian is an award-winning author, poet, filmmaker, and speaker who brings heart, humor, and depth to everything he writes. From best-selling self-improvement books and uplifting poetry to imaginative rhyming children's adventures, his work inspires readers of all ages. So thrilled to have your light here with us on The Spark, Brian.
Wow, it's my pleasure, Stephanie. Thank you. It's great to connect today.
Well, and so there are so many different questions that I have for you. You've been on an incredible journey yourself from everything that I've read, including a triathlete and doing Ironman. Is that right?
That was one of my past lifetimes in this lifetime. Yes.
I mean, in addition to everything else,
Yeah.
um, you shared your experience so beautifully. I had shared with you before we got on the show that I had just listened to your TEDx this morning, and so will you share with the listeners a little bit? You had some different roots than where you are now.
Yeah. So, gosh, it's interesting. When I was 3, I told my mom I was put here to inspire people, and she reminded me way like around 2008, I was in the process of leaving my family business. I just felt like I wasn't growing there anymore, and I felt like I had this something inside of me that needed to come out, although I had no idea what it was. And I've always tried to kinda be the best version of myself, and so I was feeling out of balance during that process of wrapping things up there and kind of figuring out what I'm gonna do next. And so I just wrote down 5 things that I knew that would help keep me in balance, and they did help. And then my intuition started screaming, "Expand the list and write a book," and I'd never really written anything before other than just messing around, and I self-published it, and it won a couple of awards and just pointed me in this whole new direction. Right after I left the business, I moved to Reno, Nevada to be near my son who was growing up in the Tahoe area, just entering high school, and so I just started to reinvent myself there in Reno and overcame a fear of speaking. I did Toastmasters and a couple community college speech classes, and I took an acting class with no plans on acting, and I created an interactive workshop thinking I was being clever because I wouldn't have to talk the whole time, but it actually worked out better that way. Um, I hired someone to co-host an internet radio show with me. So I just did a lot of things to step out of my comfort zone, and kind of one thing led to another, what led to another, and the acting kind of unexpectedly happened as I had a dream. About this little street guitar story, which I ended up calling Guitar Man. I met a young filmmaker. We made an 8-minute film. It did really well. And so I don't know. It was kind of a crazy ride, but it felt so exciting and I felt really alive. And I just kind of kept following the joy. And then when my son graduated, I ended up moving to LA. After somebody saw Guitar Man, gave me the lead in their short, and the female lead, she's probably 90 years old now, but she was from LA and they flew her up to Reno to film it. We kept in touch. And then when I moved to LA, she had a studio attached to her house. So that was where I lived for the first 2.5 years. So it just synchronicity, intuition. I mean, it was just all woven together in a really perfect ball for me just to kind of step into and surrender into and just see where it led.
Wow. Wow, what an adventure. And I did watch, the clip that you had on
Yeah.
your website of Guitar Man, and so cool. I mean, and again, one of your talents, blues guitar, hello.
Yep. A little rusty now, but yep.
Well, and I just wanna say for anyone, please check that out because it really is a film of, just I can tell from that clip, so much
Mm,
heart.
thank
It's
you.
so much about, as you were felt like you were being filled, you were also giving to others.
No, thank you. Yeah, it was really an exciting adventure to do that film. Yeah.
Well, and so and your children's books also, when I was on your website a few days ago looking at you have one of your short stories that is a little video on there that's one of your children's stories that are just lovely, and so, all these different creations, Brian, what's expanding and inspiring you now?
Just a lot of the same stuff, I suppose. I really, really love it's kind of funny because I really don't read a whole lot, but I love to write spoken word poetry and kind of mm, simple terms, but with depth. And it's been fun making some videos with those. And I'm wanting to start incorporating them into some of my presentations and just kind of because some of them are kind of autobiographical, through difficult times that I went through or through other just I know some of them kind of incorporate what feels like maybe just kind of universal laws, just things to get maybe people to think, um, look within a little bit more, but also just make them feel good. I try to have kind of a nice vibe to everything that I do. Um, so yeah, I love to do that. And the kids' stories, those are fun and exciting. They're almost like mental jigsaw puzzles for me because they're rhyming, and so sometimes they come really quickly, sometimes I have to kinda grind over them a little bit, and use the thesaurus, but, it's been a really exciting journey. I have a couple more than likely coming out this year with a publisher. One's called Reading is Cool, and the other one's called I Like to Fly. Um, but Steve the Alien, my very first one that came out in 2016, we're actively kinda trying to shop it as a cartoon, and we have it all put together and 2 episodes already animated, and it's really cool to it's just like, wow, I can't believe it, right? So, cross your fingers for that.
You have, like, an incredible guide or guardian angel, that wow, it sounds
I just
like
feel like I'm a conduit, and I don't write every day, I just write when I feel inspired to.
yeah, and it really comes through you, and it sounds like you listen too to that inner guidance, like you were talking about, with
Yeah,
inspiration and being in touch with that intuition,
yeah.
which
I
reminds
don't feel like I have a choice, but it's a good choice, it's a good choice.
do,
Yep,
but but you're
yeah.
making the good choice. Um, and will you share with the listeners in your TED Talk, you talked about, like, these 5 important things, and I think they're so essential.
Yes, and you're gonna I thought you'd ask me that, it's like, it's been so long, I'm gonna have to kinda remember, they might not be in order, but I know one was the balance aspect, that was, my first book, and it's kind of no, coincidence, I don't think, that I really kind of just became aware of a lot of different ways to kind of find and stay in life balance, and it's kind of been a nice chip to have in my back pocket through the years since then, just to kinda I'm very good at staying grounded for the most part, and so that was helpful. So, finding balance and play is incredibly important. Um, gosh, this is embarrassing. I know that, like, there are no, happily expect the unexpected. There are no accidents, and so when I was kind of on that beginning of my journey that I just already kind of discussed, I was just really wide open and just kind of almost expected cool things to kind of show up, so they're really, happily expect the unexpected. And it's interesting. I'll do a little side note here.
Yeah.
After I'd been kind of on my journey a bit and I moved to LA, I was there for 10 years and things were going pretty well. I started having problems when I tried to start controlling things too much,
Mhm.
and I realized it a little bit later. And so there's that fine line, right, of being proactive, creating, kind of having a vision of where you want things to go, but also being open and be careful of the expectations. Those kind of got the better of me a little bit at times as well. I thought things might happen a little quicker than they did in some areas and not in others. And it's just You just gotta create and just trust that it's gonna be, shared with whomever it's supposed to be shared, right? And touch whoever it's supposed to, touch, even if it's just one person.
That's it, right? I mean, it's really that whole it's almost like that law that we've heard about forever, this kind of universal law of that you have the desire, you are clear about maybe what you're creating, and then
Yeah,
there's this act of surrender,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. So, I am so embarrassed. I'm drawing
No,
a
don't
blank
be.
on the
No, don't
other
be.
well,
I just listened to it and so
yeah, yeah, help me.
very fresh for me.
Yes.
So,
No, I mean
you talked about intuition
Yep,
and
trust you, yep.
yep, and then, the other one, well, I think was, like, around taking risks. Is that right?
Step into your comfort zone.
Yeah, yep,
Yep,
there it
yep,
is.
yep, yep,
Mhm.
yep, yep. Yeah, and that's something luckily I've been pretty good at as well. I probably started with the triathlons a long time ago. That was kind of probably the first time that I really tested myself and probably stepped out of my comfort zone. Although that felt, kind of spiritually aligned too, like I was supposed to do it. It was like that, sometimes we'll get that hell yes on a project or whatever. And that was definitely that. And it happened because I injured my knee in college. I had a couple buddies who had done a short course the year before, and this was when triathlon was fairly new in the mid late 80s. And I just like, all right, I'm going to get my knee right and I'm going to do one of those little short course triathlons. And I ended up doing 5 that first year after a year of rehab. And I just got hooked and it just made me feel really good. And I just kind of kept building and in distance and doing the Ironmans 4 times. But yeah,
It's so cool. I mean, I love that it's like you something sparks in you, and you, like, follow
yeah,
that, and it expands in your life, and it creates these incredible experiences.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Looking back, I think we all probably well, we're gonna take a little side jog here, but,
Yeah.
self-acceptance is so important, and I think it's probably the most difficult thing that we as spiritual beings having human experience, have to work on, right? And so I definitely had some self-worthiness to work through, and I think looking back, the triathlons were kind of a little bit of a Band-Aid. I'm really glad I'm very proud of them, but you know what I mean? I it was something that made me feel good about myself, and looking back also on a lot of the stuff I created during some of those years in LA, I probably tried to use them as validation tools also, although I'm incredibly proud of everything I've created, and so, the further we go and the more that we kind of can identify and be self, aware about where we are in that department, it just boy, if we can just get to that place of loving ourselves, everything else seems to just fall into place. Because we waste so much time and energy and finding that validation outside of ourselves in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I mean, this is so huge, Brian. This is so much about what I talk to my clients about and
Yeah,
and I think a lot of what my message has been over the years and through some of my books, and definitely my first film, in talking about, we have these external programs for happiness when really it's an inside job.
yeah.
And, there's this art of befriending ourselves. Because it's not like we just go, "Okay, I'm just gonna love myself. I'm just gonna be my own best friend." I mean, it just doesn't happen like that, and so we have to
It's a
cultivate
process.
that relationship, right? And so if you're open to sharing it, what are the things that helped you to grow in acceptance and relationship with yourself?
Whew. It's been a lifelong journey, right? But I think, just constantly just trying to be the observer in my own experience and just, we all have our blind spots, but yeah, just kind of bearing witness to the way I react to things and just, sometimes I might start to get a little smarter about it and kind of, like try to, see how I can make it different the next time, right? And I'm not really giving you an example per se right now, but I think the biggest things that really helped me, it's gonna be crazy, are my 2 recent health experiences. Having prostate cancer in 2020 and then open heart surgery in 24. Um, I know, mind blown. I've always been healthy, and it wasn't like I had clogged arteries or anything. I just was feeling off, and I went to the hospital, and after 8 days of tests, they found out I had a little congenital hole that needed to be patched, and they ended up replacing my mitral valve too, so it was life-changing. I think the experience 5 years ago, it was interesting. I think during both experiences, though, I have never felt more at peace in my entire life, as crazy as that sounds. I just, surrendered into it, and I think in some ways I was probably giving myself permission to get off the hamster wheel also,
Mm.
and just be, and just surrender, and so 5 years ago, I think it was a big thing for me and realizing while I was taking that time off that I was creating sometimes for the wrong reasons. And that kinda began the journey of me really looking a little bit closer at the different ways that I, looked outside of myself for validation. And then, my experience, in 24, that that really taught me how to receive, and that's so important. It's just as important as giving, and we gotta have that full circle and working order. And, I think my brother unexpectedly, my younger brother passed away 3 weeks after my heart surgery, and so between the 2, I just had all this stuff that I've been holding on to forever just come out, and it was just such a big release, and, um, so it was healing, even though it was a
Yeah.
shitty, difficult time.
Yes. I mean, God, and isn't that truth, though? Some of our most difficult and painful times are what become the match point that, like, ignites something within us
Yeah.
that is truly life-changing.
Yeah. 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 So, those definitely I don't recommend everybody going out and having a health problem to kinda
No.
heal their inner child, but, yeah, everybody's different, right? And it's subjective, and everybody has different experiences, maybe past lives or when they're younger that they maybe have to kinda identify and move through and love and pull into their heart, so, yeah, but it's so important just to, at the very least, do what you can to take care of yourself. If you're not sure what you should be doing at a certain point, maybe you're in the middle of transition or you're kind of in between or what have you, or in between relationships, doesn't matter. Take care of yourself. Eat right. Food makes such a difference. Move your body, surround yourself with positive um, content, people, slow down. That will really help. And I think that's been a really big thing for me, and it's funny looking back, all those days of long bike rides and long runs, that was a form of meditation. I was kind of meditating before I even really realized I was meditating, right? And now I have a regular practice, and so that I think helps me allow my channels to be clear, to allow the content, the information to come through.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm so in alignment with you around that. I
Yeah,
speak so often about that we are just conduits. And so to notice when we get
yeah,
those cobwebs that need to
yeah,
be cleared in our conduit so we can continue to be this clear channel for as much light, love, healing to come to us and through us
yeah, yeah.
to others. And I love what you said too about it really is that. In my mind, you said a circle. In my mind, I always think of it as an infinity sign.
Mhm.
How that's how the energy flows, and it really is that. Because as a giver, that I'm very clear you are, we can also think, "Well, this is my purpose. I'm supposed to just give, and I'm supposed to just do these things in the world and help other people," which is beautiful. It is so wonderful. And yet, if we're not in that relationship with ourselves and maybe more in tune with our self-worth, we don't
Yeah.
realize we need to let that also come back
Mm,
to
yeah.
truly receive.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I can just look back. I would just kinda overgive in different ways, whether it was just, being on social media too much and responding to everything, or just it was just another form of kind of looking outside myself for validation, I suppose, and so I would just kinda overgive, and then I would have to hibernate because I'm an outgoing introvert, and so I need a lot of time to refill my cup, and so then I'd be off channel for a week or something. It would just be kind of this, now I want sustainability, right? And a nice flow.
Right. Well, and how great that you know that you're an extroverted introvert, and when we learn that about ourselves, I'm very extroverted on the scale, and wow, have I learned though there truly is that introverted part of me as well.
Mm, yeah,
Like, I really need that time to
yeah,
meditate, to settle, to be, to walk in nature with my dog, to just have and I'm so blessed. I live on 5 acres out in the country now, right
yeah.
outside of Santa Fe, Santa Fe
Mm.
proper, and it is soul food, right?
Oh, 110%. I mean, nature is the vibration is perfect, and it's just so healing, and that's you get a lot of ideas that way too, right? And just yeah.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things, Brian, for me too, is that I'll talk to people and say, "Yeah, we all need every day we need sky time," right? To just look at there's always something happening in the sky, and out here, we're far enough away, um, from the lights of the city that I'll take my dog out at night,
Mm,
and I mean, I took actually a picture 2 nights ago because the stars were so bright and the sky was so black, and you can see them. Like, you can see all these dots of
mm.
light, and I was just blown away. I mean, you're so in touch with, like, "Oh, I am connected to all of this miracle," right?
Yeah. No, I have not seen the stars in a while, as I miss them. Yeah, good, that's amazing. You're right, it's, we're just a tiny little speck. I mean, yeah, right?
And it helps to connect to that, I think. It helps to connect to, like, something bigger than us, and also that we're part of this whole wild mystery that I think we see just, like, playing out vibrationally in nature all around us.
Yeah. There's a term, and I don't know what it is, I'd have to look it up, but astronauts who go into space and come back and just look at the Earth from a distance, I mean, they're all affected I in that way, but, like, multiply it, and there's a term for it, but it's just life-changing.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I've heard that too. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the term.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, to look back and see the Earth, that's gotta just be, right,
Crazy.
crazy stunning. Yeah. So,
Mm,
you know, anything else, Brian, that's kinda coming to your heart or mind today that at
mm.
the end of the show, I'm gonna ask you for your essential message, so you don't have to share that yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I just wanna make sure, like, if there's something that's kinda been on your heart or mind that
Mm,
you wanna share.
gosh. Um, well, thank you for asking. I don't know, sometimes I like to read little short pieces. I mean, would you be open to that?
Love it. Love that.
Oh, let me see here. I got a couple just in case. All right. This one's called Stations on the Journey. And it's really short. This unique illusion where we are all connected, loving unity, our true nature. So take a deep breath, temper your active mind, move into your heart, let fear go. This is but one station on the journey. Expansion is truth, trust in the process. Self acceptance, our crowning achievement. Play and move toward what brings you joy. Be yourself, our eternal masterpiece. Rest easy. The universe has your back.
Mm,
Yeah.
love that.
Kind of everything
Love
in a
that.
nutshell. Yeah.
It is
But
so I mean, it's so much about what we've been talking about,
yeah, that's true too.
I mean, yeah, that is beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate that so much. And so, before we wrap up, Brian, how can people first, how can they get a hold of you? How can they
Mm,
learn more about you, get your
thank you.
books?
Yeah. The simplest way is to go to my website, just gbrianbenson.com, and there's a lot of fun stuff on there. There's lots of videos and everything. So when I was in LA, I did a lot of videos with Prince EA and Jay Shetty, and so there's some fun stuff on there, and as well as the short film that you talked about, and another short film I did that, has a really nice message, and Gaia picked it up, and so that's been kind of fun, but, yeah, and my website, and, you can find my YouTube channel on my website and a bunch of other stuff in the books.
And
Yeah.
you do individual coaching as well?
Yep, 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 thank you. Yeah, excuse me, I got a little yep, I love to just, work I don't know, I don't really have a term as far as, like, my niche, but I just love to, work with people, just kinda help them kinda step into their own self-realization, whether it's to kinda maybe help them, um, find their creativity, find some more self-acceptance. There's just so important for us to do, right? And so I do enjoy doing that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So people can contact you on that website for that as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, well, and now, Brian, I'm curious if you have an essential message to
Well,
leave with the listeners, what would that be?
let me spin the wheel here and see what comes up. You are enough. Just being yourself the way you are and what you have to work with. We are all enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the powerful thing, right? We don't have to do more, we don't have to be more, we don't have to earn love.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
are it. We're enough.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Brian, thank you so much for being here on the show, for sharing your light and your spark with all of us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Stephanie, for having me.